Gervonta "Tank" Davis is back in the gym, back in the headlines, and, if his new training footage is any indication, back in the kind of shape that made him one of the most feared finishers in boxing. Even Terence stopped to give him credit. We're breaking down Tank's camp, why he looks different, what went wrong in the Lamont Roach draw, and how the Jake Paul exhibition on November 14th flips the conversation. If you follow Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul updates, training camp news, and real-time boxing analysis, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next report. Let's start with the clips that lit up the internet. In the latest Netflix behind-the-scenes segment, Davis looks sharper, meaner, and more deliberate than he did in March. The focus is obvious: speed and violence on command. You can hear the corner cadence. There you go. There you go. Deep breath. And then watch the tempo spike as he closes with power. This is the version of Tank fans wanted to see after the Lamont Roach fight. It's the version that finishes exchanges, not just wins them. Terence noticed. While Bud hasn't always been a vocal supporter of Davis, he didn't hide what he saw this week: a hungry fighter punching through bigger men in sparring. That last point matters. Jake Paul will have a massive size advantage on fight night, so Team Davis has stocked the room with big bodies, naturally larger partners who can test Tank's timing and punish mistakes. The goal is not to trade with heavyweights. It's to learn how to land first, exit clean, and do damage that carries up in weight. Insiders around the gym say the intensity is deliberate. This isn't mitt work for the camera. Tank is cracking the bag and putting heat on his partners, trying to build snap at a pace that fatigues bigger men. A fighter used to 10-ounce gloves is now sparring with more padding and more mass pushing back at him. If he's going to hurt a much larger opponent in 12-ounce gloves, he has to translate that speed into real, repeatable power. Based on the rounds we've seen, he's treating every minute like a live round. That change in tone was the first thing fans commented on when the Netflix reel dropped. Tank is getting into beast mode, one wrote. Another said bluntly, no jokes with Tank right now. He needs violent mode to beat Jake Paul. Several pointed to March, arguing that if he'd let his hands go more against Roach, he could have separated the fight. Whether you agree or not, the tape shows a different gear. More output, more bad intentions, less drifting. There was also a rumor floating through gyms this week that Tank put down a 154-pounder in sparring. Nobody will name names on the record, and that's how it should be. Sparring is not a fight. Still, whispers like that tell you how his camp is pitching this matchup. If he's dropping junior middleweights in practice, maybe he can sting a 195-pound Jake Paul in 12s under exhibition conditions. Details aside, the broader point stands. Tank is not training for a light show. He's training to land clean and discourage a much bigger man early. Not everyone is buying the comeback narrative. The comments are split. We'll discover who he is when the Jake fight happens, one viewer wrote. Another went harder. Tank falls on November 14th. The size difference is too crazy. He's lost what made him special. That's the debate playing out in real time. On one side, people see renewed intent and a track record of finishing elite fighters. On the other, they see physics, fatigue, and a man they think is trying to rediscover the switch. There's also the coaching layer. For the first time in his career, Gervonta Davis went into a major fight without Calvin Ford as the lead voice in his corner. The Roach draw made that absence feel loud. During the closing stretch, cameras caught Tank snapping at Ford, "Calvin, calm down and listen to me," a moment many fans thought was disrespectful to the mentor who raised him in the sport. Whatever the temperature was then, it's cooled now. Ford is back as head trainer for November 14th, and he's brought the focus back to fundamentals: glove size, safety, exit angles, and measured aggression. Ford has been frank about the rules. "We don't fight in 12-ounce gloves," he said this week. "Those are training gloves." It wasn't a complaint, it was a calibration. Under the hybrid exhibition format, the heavier gloves will change the feel of Tank's power and slow the exchanges a shade. That's why you see so many rounds on the bag and pads. He's drilling mechanics that carry through extra padding. In a fight where Tank gives up 60 pounds and more than a few inches of reach, punch placement and timing matter more than ever. Is it a joke, as some critics have called it? One former opponent shrugged off the matchup as a cash grab and a spar disguised as a show. "They'll steal everyone's money," he said. The answer from Tank's side is simple. It's an exhibition on paper, but he's not treating it like one. The rules allow a knockout. He's preparing to deliver one. And beyond the spectacle, he knows he's fighting for reputation. The Roach result left fans split on where he is mentally. A flat performance against Jake Paul would harden that perception. A sharp one swings the pendulum back. That broader mission explains an unexpected visitor to camp, Terence Crawford. Bud made a surprise stop this week, sat ringside during sparring, and shouted one note over and over, speed. He told Tank to lean on what he naturally has over bigger men. Get in, get out. If you want to stand and trade, do it only after you've tasted the other man's power and know what you're dealing with. It was practical advice from a champion who knows exactly what it feels like to solve a size puzzle. Crawford's respect didn't morph into a prediction for Tank. On the Full Send podcast, he was honest about the risk. Jake is too big for Tank, he said. If Jake lands one good punch, it's over. He wasn't clowning Davis's skill set. He called him explosive and heavy-handed. He was reminding everyone that weight and reach exist for a reason. Jake Paul is a legitimate cruiserweight with an underrated right hand. Under 12-ounce gloves at 195 pounds, any clean shot from a man that size has to be respected. Rolando "Raleigh" Romero echoed the size concern after seeing the face-off photos. He's a lot bigger, Raleigh said. This time, somebody's actually a lot bigger. There's no point pretending otherwise. Tank has never weighed in above 140. Jake Paul has fought near 200 and as high as the high 220s in past camps. The gap is real, and it will shape the fight. Shakur Stevenson sees the same gap, but a different outcome. The WBC lightweight champion told TMZ Sports he thinks Tank wins a decision, not by knockout. He's giving up a lot of weight, so I don't think he's just going to knock that guy out, Shakur said. I see him outboxing Jake and making it look easy. That's a complete reversal from some of the louder voices online predicting a wipeout. At the same time, Stevenson didn't sugarcoat how he feels about the event. He called the matchup disrespectful to the sport and said flatly that he won't be watching. That frustration tracks. Stevenson has been chasing a real fight with Davis for years. They share a division and hold major belts, Shakur with the WBC, Tank with the WBA, yet negotiations have never gotten past the talking stage. With Stevenson tied to Top Rank and ESPN, and Davis working under the PBC banner, the platform split has been a historic barrier to super fights. Fans know the script, cross-network politics, public call-outs, and no contracts. When word spread that Tank was moving toward a Jake Paul exhibition, Stevenson took it as a snub to boxing and to him personally. If he says he's the best, prove it, Shakur told Fight Hub TV. I've been saying I'm the best in the sport. Let's make it happen. For now, Stevenson is looking elsewhere. Teofimo Lopez at 140 has been discussed publicly, and Lamont Roach remains in the conversation after the Davis draw. But he keeps circling back to the same message. Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is the biggest pure boxing match on the table. Whether it happens depends on more than the fighters. Back to the exhibition. Months before he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul teased that his team was working behind the scenes on a Davis bout, most likely an exhibition. Now it's official. The announcement stunned casuals and split hardcores. A ranked cruiserweight against an all-time puncher at lightweight is a collision of two worlds, absurd on paper, commercially massive in practice. Clarissa Shields, who knows Tank personally, took a more empathetic view. She suggested Davis may be dealing with things privately that fans don't see and said she avoids piling on, even when the easy content is to criticize. That perspective fits what Tank himself has said. He's been at this since he was 7, he's finally enjoying a camp again, and he's choosing what's best for him, not what looks purest to critics. It's also worth noting the structure. This is a Netflix hybrid event. 10 3-minute rounds, 12-ounce gloves, a 195-pound catchweight. No belts, no effect on their official records, but scored under pro-style rules with the potential for a knockout. That combination, spectacle with stakes, explains the spike in training intensity. It's not a spar. It's not a title defense. It's something in between, watched by a global audience with an entry price far lower than traditional pay-per-view. So where is Tank's game right now? The latest rounds show a fighter who has embraced structure. He's keeping a disciplined nutrition plan. His strength and conditioning blocks look purposeful, core stability, balance under load, and speed drills that simulate punching with bigger gloves. On the pads, the rhythms are classic Tank. Short bursts, tight pivots, exploding on the exit. In sparring, he's walking bigger men into counters and then removing himself from the pocket before the weight catches up to him. That's the playbook Crawford hinted at: win the positions, not the posturing. Will that be enough if Jake Paul lands the right hand everyone keeps talking about? That's the question you can't answer in a gym. Jake's record, 1-1 with 7 knockouts, doesn't scare purists, but it does prove he can punch through big gloves. He's not as slow as he was early. His feet are cleaner, his jab is stiffer, and his frame is used to 190 plus. Add a rumored knockout bonus in the contracts, and you're looking at incentives for both men to engage, not just perform. None of that changes what happened in March. The Lamont Roach draw hangs over this event because it reframed Tank's narrative. Was he burned out? Was he undercoached without Calvin Ford in the lead? Did he take his foot off the gas in the middle rounds? All fair questions. The way you answer them is with clear, violent work now, and with the right voice in the corner. Ford's return is as important as any sparring partner or game plan tweak. He knows when to pull Davis back from the brink and when to push him through it. In an exhibition that feels like a final exam on discipline, that relationship matters. As for predictions, the sport is split. Crawford says the size is too much, and if Jake lands clean, it ends fast. Stevenson says Tank will outbox Jake to a decision. Other pros shrug and point to the payday. It won't change his legacy, it will change his bank account. All of them are right in some way. This fight won't sit on a resume the way a title defense would, but it will sit in the culture. If Tank looks flat, the critics will get louder. If he looks electric, the roar for a real fight, Shakur, Teo, whoever, gets deafening. And if the unthinkable happens and Jake scores a stoppage, the sport will wake up to a very different Monday. For now, here's what we can say without caveat. Gervonta Davis is training like a fighter with something to prove. Calvin Ford is back in the driver's seat. The gym is full of big bodies, hard rounds, and a clear plan built around speed, timing, and selective violence. Terence Crawford gave him both a compliment and a warning. Shakur Stevenson gave him both respect and a challenge. And the fans, on both sides, are locked in. What do you think happens on November 14th? Does Tank outbox a much bigger man for 10 rounds? Does the size overwhelm him? Or does one perfect counter change the conversation? Drop your take below. I'm watching the comments. If this breakdown helped you make sense of the camp, hit like so more fans see it. Subscribe and turn on notifications for daily updates on Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul, camp notes from Las Vegas, weight and glove confirmations, and what's next for Tank, Shakur Stevenson, and Lamont Roach. Fight week is coming. We'll keep you ready.